Hello.
Hi, I'm Pat, and there's a new season coming up, and it's the season of the construct. Thank you. I already have 2 cats and a dog, and now I can have a robot dog in the game, which apparently I can pet. A wee little bit of information came out on it, and I'm going to be talking about it for a quick little bit. Just as a quick note, I do find it difficult to be excited or even thoroughly understand a thing until it is in my hands, so I'm probably going to be wrong on a few of those things, but hey, that's what preseason talk is all about, getting a feel for what is coming. Take it away, OBS recording Pat. Okay, season of the construct. I don't really care about the story, sorry. I know that I kind of do, but right now I don't. But it's nice to see Zoltan Cool again, which I could have sworn was not spelled that way. Here it is. We're gonna get a Seneschal Companion, which basically means we have a follower, which is cool. So there's a new quest line that's pretty bog standard, that's fine. Battle side by side with your Seneschal Companion. My only concern about the Seneschal Companion is how much does it modify? Like, how much does it change my gameplay? I know there's a few gameplay strats that are going to be enabled by this, pretty much. So we could probably design it as a tank or a support. If we need a little bit more damage, I'm sure it can do that. If we need a tank, I'm sure it can do that. Or it is a defensive tool or a buddy who will punch things with us. So it feels like we want to think about the original 3. Well, not the original 3, of course. The 3 companions in Diablo 3, I think, are going to be the inspiration. It's going to be the rogue or the scoundrel, the paladin, or the sorceress, which is utility, defense, or damage. Although they all have kind of a mix with that. I'm sure there's a lot of control with the sorceress. The paladin has like a keep you from dying skill. I'm sure that's going to pop up later on. So, using magical governing and tuning stones recovered from the vaults and elsewhere in Sanctuary, we will augment our Seneschal to best suit our targeted build for Season of the Construct. How much of our build is going to be modified by this? Who knows? Governing stones determine which attacks your Seneschal can perform, while tuning stones will augment those skills and provide greater utility. You can equip your Seneschal with 2 governing stones and 6 tuning stones. So we can customize 2 skills and 6 ways to tune those skills. 1 governing stone for each attack. Wait, what? Okay, governing stones I assume are what attacks they can do. The wording is a little weird. And 6 tuning stones to change those, the traits of those, 3 of those in particular for each governing stone. Okay. We get vaults to get those. So we have a separate activity just to do this, which I think is separate from if they bring it back, which I assume they will, the Abattoir of Zur as well as the Nightmare Dungeons. Tuning and governing stones, you can get them from vaults, ward-woven chests in the vaults, yada yada yada. To collect the full power of the stones, you will need to increase their raw power by leveling them. So it's another time sink, which is fine by me. That's just like more gameplay, which is just how a seasonal thing goes. They give you what essentially can feel like busy work. The trick is making that busy work fun. The good news is once we have our best friend, they're going to be following us everywhere. So it's going to be like a test for the servers, because now we have another entity rolling around with us, which is okay. I don't remember. I think in multiplayer games in Diablo 3, we could not have our own minion or follower, rather. Instead, it was replaced by the other player, which is okay. This one, because Diablo 4 is open world, we can get a lot. There's a few examples of governing stones. I don't know if this is, oh, it's the full list. Okay, let's take a look at them. I don't know if I accidentally skipped it, but I'm pretty sure I don't. Okay, I'm not pretty sure, but I don't know if our stats are gonna apply to them or not, or they have their own like levels. I know you can level up the individual stuff by like combining the same stones. It's like it's over here, but I don't know if they're gonna inherit any stats from us. It might be later down the line. This is the first time I've actually read through it. So we're gonna take a quick look at the governing stones and then the tuning stones. Yeah, tuning stones. I keep reading it as touring stones. Anyway, on a defense, the construct activates an anti-material field around itself, shooting down enemy projectiles. Cannot shoot down boss or player projectiles. That is what? Okay, the fact that it can't shoot down boss projectiles is kind of disappointing for a Nightmare Dungeon encounter, but it seems okay in regular adventuring as well as Probably the Abattoir Reserve, because those the three guys at the end of the Abattoir do not count as bosses because they have their own. They get affected by CC. They're like super elites then rather than bosses. Good adventuring thingy. Bushwhack. Quickly ambush, dealing damage to each target, may strike the same target multiple times. I'm gonna say my opinion on any of the damage abilities here. It really depends on what they inherit from us. Do they inherit our crit chance? Do they inherit our heaven for fan? Do they inherit anything from overpower from us? Can they apply effects from us? Clearly, or at least in theoretically, not clearly. Does the Seneschal count as us? Does that count as one of our quote-unquote skills? Damage dealt to them, does that apply? There's going to be a lot of reading involved in this, and that's fine by me. I feel like this is also a good time to mention that I played a little bit of Necromancer, and I played a little bit of minion builds, and, they're not directable. Like, they're good boss busters because there's like one target, right? That's what makes them amazing against like a single target boss. However, that is not the case against a bunch of dudes. You can't really rely on them to hit a specific area because that's what minions are. I don't know if the Seneschal is going to have that same problem. So that's probably going to be the general feel for beasts like Firefly. Deploy another little friend that explodes a bunch of times or channels a ray of fire. Like, personally, it is hard for me to get excited over the damage effects. Like, this is lightning, there's fire, there's probably ice, this is like it has a tiny little whirlwind. The barrier is interesting because that for certain, no, you know what? Not for certain. Protective barrier. Because of the wording, it doesn't say the player gains a barrier. The wording is important, right? It might be a separate barrier from the barrier we have, so this might not proc stuff like Conceited or certainly some of the effects that the Sorceress has. Lightning Bolt, Reconstruct. The Seneschal challenge a Reconstruction beam, healing the player for a portion of their maximum life over time. That's interesting. Good for like meleeers. Now we can heal because I can find this interesting because I know what it's going to do as, compared to what the other damaging abilities. In fact, it feels weird to look at the Seneschal and think of it as a damage support. I mean, these abilities are going to be fantastic leveling up, right? You have another guy helping you clear the field. That's why one of those vampiric powers, Hemorrhage, I think, was super good when leveling and clearing stuff like Helltides, but not necessarily stuff like, top end stuff. You want something more valuable. So I can see that it has purposes throughout the leveling process. Slash, more damage. Tempest, electrically charge an enemy, causing it to deal damage to themselves and additional enemies each second over time. If an enemy is killed, Tempest spreads to another enemy, gaining additional time and bonus damage. These bonuses are also applied if Tempest is reapplied onto the same enemy. Okay. See, there's a lot of sentences here and a lot of things that you can do, so we'll see if Tempest is actually going to be one of those damage things that matter. Flash of Adrenaline administers a quick flash of adrenaline onto the player, granting bonus damage for duration. Guess what everyone's governing stone is going to be? One of them is always going to be Flash of Adrenaline. Probably. I don't know. Damage seems to be king. Because it feels good. You see the big number. Tuning stones. 3 of these per thing. I don't think we can get multiples of each stone. Oh, you can get duplicates to grant experience, but I wonder if you can get 2 high level of the same stone. Because then we're going to find that some of these are going to be... I hope you can't. I hope you can't apply like 2 voluminous supports at the same time, because that'll force us to like pick and choose, right? Voluminous support, the supported skills effect size is increased. Okay. Very generic, very good. Doesn't really apply to some of these. Maybe with damage stuff, maybe the Tempest can use it. Swift support, the supported skill gains an attack speed bonus. Guess what? I don't know if it applies to Flash of Adrenaline or anything that affects the player, but that's interesting. But it's more likely that it's just going to attack more frequently or, comes out faster. We'll see. Breaking support. Damage from the supported skill instantly destroys enemy barrier effects. In addition, there's a chance to make enemies vulnerable for 2 seconds. That's going to be extremely valuable for classes that have limited ways of applying vulnerable, such as most necro builds and the Sorceress. The Sorceress, thank God for vampiric powers and like Frost Orb, right? But Frost Orb is RNG. Vampiric powers, they're going away. So we're here. We're at breaking support now. Damage from the supported skill instantly destroys. So we're gonna look to apply this to something that hits many targets at one time to apply vulnerable. Like Bushwhack. Bushwhack is interesting. I don't know what ambush means. I don't know if the Seneschal can die. Probably not. Arcs to other targets. That's also interesting. There's a chance. We don't know if it's a lucky hit or not, or if there's just a percentage that gets better and better over time. No, wait. They have that chain lightning thing, right? They have that lightning legendary node that lets them apply vulnerable. So that's okay. Tactical support. Decrease the cooldown. That's going to be good. Like, it's very basic, but it's like, what if we use a good ability more than once, right? Efficiency support. When the supporting skill deals damage, you gain critical strike chance to the same target's hit. Okay, so I'm starting to feel like we're not going to inherit stuff. We're just going to apply nonsense for us. But what's interesting about it is there's a bunch of support skills that apply damage over time. So that's interesting. So that's something to keep in mind. Whether or not any skills get changed or any new things apply to the player that, you know, that base our action on damage, the kind of damage being taken over time. But unlikely. We'll see. I don't think there are patch notes yet for what's coming to changes in terms of mechanics per character, per class rather. But, you know, critical strike damage bonus. I don't know what that means. Because it just doesn't say like the damage gets a critical strike damage bonus, right? It says gains a critical strike damage bonus to me or to the skill being applied. If it's applied to Flash of Adrenaline, can it do that? Frigid support. A portion of the supported skill's damage is applied as cold damage over time over chill. So this one, it's like supporting what you're doing. That's good. That's excellent, actually. So I doubt that this damage is going to be like super duper meaningful, especially at super high levels at the abattoir, but it is going to determine how we apply that damage. Let's say like, there's that. Frigid support on focus fire. So it just burns one thing or, you know, a bunch of things over time. I assume that keeps applying chill, so that's kind of good. Burning support. Take critical strike damage from the Seneschal construct. Burning, okay, that's weird because now it's damage for the Seneschal now. Sorry, Fire Sorks, they don't seem to be. I mean, we already have a passive for that, right? To increase our damage against burning targets, our critical strike damage. It's like a multiplier too, so it's super good. Electrocution support. A portion of the supported skill's damage dealt is applied as lightning damage over time and has a chance to stun enemies. This is what's extra interesting to me, is that we're getting the ability to cause status effects that aren't normally in our milieu. Like the Barbarian has a few stuns, but it doesn't have freeze. It doesn't have chill, naturally. But now with Frigid support, we have it. There's probably some crazy builds that could come out because of that. Poison support. This one's interesting. I haven't played Rogue in a while, actually, but there's probably something that takes advantage of the fact that everybody is poisoned. Dusk support. A portion of the supported skill's damage is shadow. Does not interrupt bosses. This is interesting. Having poise breaking abilities on enemies is interesting. It doesn't interrupt bosses, but if there's anything I've learned from like trying to push myself in Diablo 4, it's that the bosses are rarely the problem. It's getting to those bosses in a good position. Duration support. Supported skills have the durations increased. Guess what's going straight to Flash of Adrenaline? Fortify support. When the Seneschal construct uses the supported skill, you gain Fortify. Skills with slower attack speeds or skills with cooldowns will increase the amount of Fortify granted. So it's always useful. So we're not just going to look at something that goes harder. So this is going to replace Reinforced now if we want Fortify. Resource support. Player gains an amount of primary resource when the supporting skill first deals damage. First deals damage, so it doesn't scale with the amount of damage procs. Interesting. We seem to be catching some of the abusable parts of the game. Initiative support. The supported skill will cause the Seneschal construct. Dude, that's such a good word, Seneschal. To teleport to the target if out of range can only occur once every so often seconds. I guess that's the variable when you level up the tuning stone rather. Okay, so now it has a thing that allows it to move towards a target. Is it I guess there's gonna be a thing that I want to see the stats, man. I want to see how fast these things can come out, because that's where the actual Fury crafting is gonna be. Because I see these, but like it doesn't matter if I don't know what the range of certain stuff is. Arcing support can hit additional enemies, so we can get like stuff like arcing into electrocuting for a chance to stun for a lot of CC. or applying chill to everybody and so forth. Multi-shot launch additional projectiles. That's interesting. These two, it can hit more things and launch more things and pierce more things. Good at thing support. Wonder how much it costs to attach things. It's probably going to cost money, but I hope not. Let's see. Point support, damage support, 4 to 5. We've seen that. Registered damage support. That's an interesting word for it. Any damage caused by the supported skill is registered. The registered damage explodes at effectiveness when the target dies as fire damage. Hey, you know what did this before? Oh no, it's just the supported skill, not everybody. It's like a mini... What's that called? Mini barber. Gripping support damage and effects done by the supporting skill to distant enemies pulls them towards the construct. Can only occur once or so over enemies. So this plus the initiative support could be interesting for your own Godslayer crown, but it's your Seneschal friend. You can pet that thing, by the way. At least I saw a tweet about being able to pet. Supported skill will auto-seek enemies for a limited duration. That's weird. This feels like not a win more, but like I don't have anything else to put on it. Slowing support. Damage when a supported skill slows enemy movement speed for a limited duration. The closer the enemy is to the Seneschal, the greater the slow amount. Enemies may be slowed up to a maximum amount. So we got a lot of like CC just from this. That's what's interesting to me because we have a lot of very blue moon damage things, right? Like, bonus damage to slowed enemies, bonus damage to stunned enemies, bonus damage to shadow over time affected enemies. Dusk support all of a sudden. A little bit better. But yeah, that's a thing. There's also, I feel like with stuff like this, we're gonna see a cross gambling or cross enchantment thing pop up in Diablo. Where they're like, I don't have damage. If for some reason plus damage over to shadowed enemies over time is a thing, you have your Necromancer roll it so that your Barbarian can take use of Dusk support or something. That seems like a lot of work, right? But that's where things get messy. Mockery support. Dash by the supporting skill taunts enemies hit for a duration of time. This can only occur once every so often per enemy, does not work on bosses. So there's the taunt as well. I wonder if the Seneschal has life. Does it have life? I have a Seneschal companion. I know what it does, but I don't have mechanics for it, which is very, very uncommon. It does have a life bar, so it probably can die and just pop up after a while. It'd be a little disappointing if it can die. Actually, scholars have spoken hushed up more tuning stones, Evernight and Genesis, so it's just random stuff. Look at our little spider friend. I have arachnophobia, by the way. Alright, so we now have the new dungeons where we get most of this stuff. The vaults. Malphas. To anybody who has played that game, Trinity? No. That thing. Hold on. Faith the Unholy Trinity. Malphas. So we have hazards. We're going to go punch things. I like that we have new enemies. I think we have scorpion enemies, but now we have mecha scorpion enemies. Upon entering the vault, after converting the required pearls of warding. Yes. There it is. There's the... I have to farm a thing to get to a thing to do a thing, which is fine. I played Destiny. You can be blessed by Zoltan's Warding, a special layered blessing, which grants access to riches within the vault. Zoltan's Warding diminishes stack by stack if you manage to die to various hazards scattered throughout the vaults. Fair enough. If you manage to keep Zoltan's Warding intact after defeating the vault boss, you'll get a ward woven chest, which has a higher chance of granting legendary items. Using pearls of warding can increase the risk by exchanging for extra stacks of Zoltan's Warding in the vault entrance. Succeed and your reward will increase as well. So it's like betting. It's a problem for me. At World Tier 3, Nightmare Vaults unlock. Vault sigils will drop alongside typical Nightmare Dungeon sigils, or they can be crafted with pearls of warding. However, they will have deadly constructs in hand. So basically, like, it's a harder dungeon. Fair enough. Okay, staunch the spread of arcane tremors. So this is our new localized event, I think, like the blood harvest. Now it's arcane tremors, so we go punch things, so we earn a thing. So we're starting to see what the core playlist looks like, and it's stuff like this. It's a rotating area, but you have to do things and then pick up a thing, pick up the money, the season money to do a thing in the season. Fair enough. Okay, we have leaderboards with the gauntlet. Fight for the gauntlet. That's interesting to me, because there's a part of me that is slowly becoming more and more competitive. A new challenge arrives later in the season contract. Fight for the gauntlet, a weekly rotating fixed dungeon that will have you competing for the top spot on the leaderboards. Only the strongest will blah 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 blah. The top weekly scorers will earn a permanent place in the Hall of the Ancients. More details on the arrival of the gauntlet will be available in the future blog. I hope that AOZ also comes back. Give us a lot to do, not just one thing to do. But I guess people might get bored of just AOZ stuff. Anyway, quality of life uptides, hell tides. Hell tides are always active. Oh. Say for 5-minute rents, 1 per hour. Battle health spawn far more frequently, increasing your chance to collect cinders, and a bountiful requires cinder. Guess what? Chest will probably cost way more to open, but you always have a hell tide. I don't know how to feel about this. Okay, that's just a theory, but that's what I've come to expect from any updates in Blizzard, in Diablo. Is it like, what's the bad thing? Let the overshoot drop. Come on, let the penny drop. You should like, whatchamacallit's the summoning chest. The 300 chest is now 500. Yeah, but you get hell tides all the time. Enhanced movement with Wasad. That's interesting. Always more options is good. Might be better for a mouse. It'd be interesting to play this with like a whirlwind now. I'll just Wasad my way through the game. Another stash tab. Zippity doodah, zippity day. My oh my, what a wonderful day. And various other stuff, such as allocating your skill tree, which I guess. Okay, there's more buttons. Increased rate to earn the items to summon the beast in the ice. Specifically the beast in the ice, but not other stuff. Okay. Stay tuned for our full patch notes, which will be available January 19. Which is apparently now, because I am late to the party. Okay, so this is December 5. No, that's not it. It's not here yet. The patch notes aren't here yet. Okay, we'll just go back to that. Season pass, blah, 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 blah. Premium battle pass, blah, 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 blah. More threads, blah, 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 blah. I don't look down on anyone who buys it. Like, you know, if you got the money and you feel good about it, go for it. Not for me. As a gentle reminder to people, you do not need to buy the season pass to enjoy the game. To enjoy the season, you can access it for free, which is pretty damn fantastic. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Anyway, we will probably have another video tomorrow once the full patch notes comes out. I'm very excited to see what they're going to do with Overpower and the Barbarian as a whole. But Hota, as long as it stays the way it is not gonna leave the main stage. Anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, comment, subscribe. Do all those nice things and more. I'm Patinator. I'll see you later.